Hey all, how you guys doing? It's been a while, few weeks since I released that little short to let you guys, to let you guys know that I was still here. There was some comments and some messaging back and forth. Hey, you still out there? Oh yeah, I'm still here. Like I said in the last video, I'm retired now and pretty much stepped away from just about everything. I don't really go anywhere. I can't ride my hog anymore. Uh, so I just try to keep myself busy in my little shop and putzing around downstairs. I wasn't going to do anything in the garage, but I think that's changed. I've got some of my neurological functions back. So, like I said in the other video, still got to smash my fingers and turn a wrench once in a while. So, I think I'm going to build a small workbench out there and put some lighting out there, another bench vise. And you saw that I got some new machinery to play around with. I'm going to get some more. That's in the plans because I believe I'm going to start a sharpening service. I think there's a bit of a niche around here I could get my hands on, a little side hustle to make some extra cash, pay for some of the toys that I do play with. And I have been playing with this. I have been doing some stuff. I just haven't really found the time to do any videos, the high-tech, state-of-the-art audio-visual production that I have with my still piece of shit phone and my plastic Chinesium tripod here that I'm staring at. It's about to fall apart on me if I don't be careful. The phone will probably fall out, but I've done a little work around the shop. It's been growing, and I've been mainly concerning myself. Let's see if I can give you a view a little bit with watch work. I've been doing watches of all kinds. And I think you guys know that pocket watches are my thing. So the shop's been kind of growing up here. And I'm still moving stuff. I still got stuff. You can't see it, but there's see the light there that behind my toolbox? That's the watch bench. And I just finished a couple jobs this weekend. And I got a couple more that should be arriving tomorrow, but I'm going to slow down a little bit and then start to come back on this and start to tool up for my sharpening service, which I'm really getting into. There's a couple guys on YouTube here, Cliff and Paul, the guys, if you're into sharpening, they said it's addicting, and I'm like, yeah, it already is, and I haven't even started yet. But anyway, I've always kind of tinkered around with that stuff, being the tinkerer that I am. Anyway, babbling. It's good to see you guys out there in YouTube Lab, and hope everybody's been doing good. I started this off, and I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not a content creator per se. I just learned that word here a couple of years ago, but I started this off just by messing around doing this stuff. And I don't know, it just struck me. I was like, I'm going to try it. So I put a few videos out there with the Unimat. And, well, here I am. Put another one out there, something new. I haven't seen it out on YouTube, so I thought I've been wanting to throw it out there with this piece of equipment I got. And I'll show you here in a second. But I've been waiting and looking for a job that I could do on here and show off this new piece, this new addition to the Unimat here that I've been thinking about. And I picked it up about 2-3 years ago. Anyway, this, if you can see it, that is an adjustable angle device, otherwise known as a buckle bar. And this is a device, if you can see you see that? That's a little better. Sorry for the, this is production value of 0.00. This is an adjustable angle setter for a 1" by 30 belt sander or belt grinder. So this moves, and you can set the angle for which the belt travels through here, and this serves as a rest. Set angles, different angles. It's got an angle scale down here. The belt travels over here and it sets your angles. You can do watches. You can tell where my mind's been. You can do knives, okay? And I used to work in a machine shop. I could have built these myself. However, I'm retired. I don't have access to my machines anymore except the Unimat. And This is a bit too heavy as far as the capacity. So you can get these like everybody else does on Amazon. I don't even remember how much you paid for it, like 11, 12 bucks or something. But you got to modify these to be safe. So if you can see the markings I put on there, see these right here? You got to take that out. And you also have to open up this slot, this adjustment slot. And I bet you I'm going to drop this. You have to open up that slot right there. See that? Because it doesn't allow you to get close enough in here. And you run the risk of, when you're grinding your blade up against close like here, you can run the risk of getting caught in there. So you want to be able to adjust on that slot when you adjust the angle and close that gap right there. See it? Where my fat finger is. So, therefore, I got to mill that out, that slot. And then I'm going to mill out this corner. And what that does, I was going to bring a knife over here, but here, we'll use the screwdriver. So when you pretend this is the knife blade, and this is the bolster, all right, of the end of the knife. And this is your handle. Okay. You got to be able to bring this up in your bolster. If you don't have this, you can't bring the blade all the way to the end to the grinder. You see that? Can't get up all the way to the bolster. Therefore, I've learned by the more accomplished and established sharpeners that you need to mill this out so you can get your bolster plate and get your grinding and your sharpening right up against the bolster. So I figured, hey, now I can show off this milling table attachment that I got for the Unimat. And, I don't even know if this is going to work. This is a first off. You're watching it live and in color here. As it happens, ladies and gentlemen, folks. And I'm going to take this off and get it ready. It's a two-piece deal, as you can see. And take this, and I'm taking these threaded nuts off too. I'm not going to use them. I got threaded, spring-loaded adjustment handles that I'm going to put on here. Quick turns, getting rid of them threaded nuts. But this is a two-piece deal. This fits on the platen. Like say this is the platen of the belt. Belt comes down here. I'm just using an example. It's got a spring plate in the inside. See that? And you just put that over the platen and it locks in. And then your adjustment is like that. I think you guys can see what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Two-piece. This is going to sit for a spell. This is the piece I'm working on. All right? All right, now I'm going to show you what I'm dealing with. As you can see, the Unimat is set up in a vertical milling or drilling configuration. And I don't like this, all right? Simply because if you look at this, one, my spindle is really stiff, and two, you don't get much travel. That's all you get. That's less than an inch. See that? You can't do. I can't mill with that. If I'm milling in a straight line, fine. But if I need any kind of I'm a mill guy. Okay, I'm used to having a nice, easygoing quill with 5, 6, 7 inches worth of travel on old Bridgeports. That's where I cut my teeth. Anyway, I spotted this tool surfing the net like everybody else, and this little doohickey, I saw it and I went, whoa, milling attachment. You see that? There's the table. It's a vertical milling attachment. It attaches by T-nuts. See that on the bottom? And I've been wanting to set this up and use it. I just haven't had the right job. Got your hand crank up here. Your vise, they have a vise here. They got T-slots here. You can take these on and off. It's got its own vise. And it also comes with a regular vise that you can buy. Look at that little, isn't that cute? Look at that. It's also got T-nuts on the bottom and a T-bar slot, whatever you want to call that. Yeah. Got a little screw on there and that little handle. Isn't that great? So I'm going to see, well, I may just be able to do the vise that's already on there to set up, because you just loosen these up and tighten it and tighten these down. Or I might put this in here and use that vise instead. I don't know. And then, so I got to fix this with the T-nuts. And I got to put it on here on the cross slide, right here. But that looks pretty small, so like many of you, I hope you guys got a milling table with your Unimat. Remember this? So I might have to use that to put the milling table on there and then mount it to the cross feed. Take the vise off. I don't know yet, but I'm going to save you guys all that because it's boring and it's lengthy and it's fiddly, clumsy. I've complained about that before with my fat cleavers and fingers, and I don't think I'll ever get used to working on such a tiny little machine, but it's fun to play with, as you guys know. And then I'm going to have to use the Unimat spacer because that's quite a bit bigger, but it's got a lot of travel, which I like, and I can control it, with the handle on it. Plus, I can get more travel here in the table, right here in the Z, and there's more rigidity here with your motor and pulley assemblies mounted on the table right here. So in essence, this is going to be your spindle. The milling tool, the end mill, is going to be in here in the spindle, and it's going to be milling on the piece that's over here. And you got way more easier travel. So I'm going to set that up. I'll be back. I'll spare you the boring details when you come back. Hopefully we'll have this set up. All right, we'll be right back. Hang tight. Okay, I'm back. After fiddling around with it for about, well over an hour, I finally got to the point where I got it all set up. And again, coming from a machinery background, all those years, and working on big machine, the smallest machine I ever worked on. Well, now it's this one, but the smallest machine I ever worked on was a small bench lathe, an engine lathe, like a 8-inch or a 10-inch swing. This I always have to remind myself, and I haven't been on this in a while, that this is a tiny machine. This is a micro machine, a micro lathe. I got to keep reminding myself that. So with that being said, don't forget that. Oh, these are fiddly, but that's just slick. I mean, I have all this travel, if you can see that. I have all that travel by means of this crank handle. And you can see I made marks on here. This mark here and this mark here tells me that I'm getting close to my travel when I'm feeding. Well, is it up or down? It's up. And when I'm feeding down, I brought the milling table up forward, and then I squared off here off the table and off the bottom of the milling table. I squared this. I didn't indicate or sweep in anything. It's just too fiddly. I could have, but what I did, and according to the book and what everybody with Unimat says, you square the head up to the flat side of anything that you're working on. There's no tolerances here. We're not dealing with any tolerances. They're wide open. All I'm doing is going to try and cut that corner out to about there. That's the other thing I had to adjust. I got 3 slots to deal with. There's 2 points of contact and 2 T-nuts on the bottom of this thing. And, you got to choose from this slot, that slot, or that slot. I initially had it in the center slot. Well, I ran out of room of travel. So then I put it in the end slot. And then I ran out of travel this way. So then I had to loosen this up and fiddle with this and move the cross feed, and get that sweet spot where I'm able to mill the whole slot. The other thing is, you can see that I didn't use any of the 2 vices I had, and but that's no fault of anything here except the fact that these T-nuts are too long. They're too long. So you put them in the vise, and they're countersunk really deep. Oh well, I'll grind these down or cut them down and then rechamfer them and chase the threads to them work. But I'm not going to do it now because I fiddled around with this thing for over an hour to get it where I can try to mill it. So I took a whisper cut. It's cutting. Uh, well, here it is. The milling attachment, the milling table attachment on the little Unimat. This is designed for lathes that are slightly bigger than the Unimat. You know, we're talking shear lines, tags, and maybe some of the old Craftsman's tabletop lathes. This little micro thing is just that, micro machining, tiny, tiny. But I was able to fit it. You know, it's a little cramped. I had to use my head spacer here, you know, and, this is probably not designed for this. I got a 3/16 spore fluid end mill on here, but I had to put my larger tool holder in here that I have threaded to, what is it, metric 14 or whatever. But, just look at it. It's big. I'm cutting big for what this thing's designed for. I got a DC motor that I replaced, the original motor, and I got a DC speed control on here that I wired through. Because DC motors, as you guys probably know, you got direct power, you got brushless motors. So, even at low RPMs, you still have a little bit of torque. In these little applications, you do anyway. I could turn this on and turn it all the way down, and I could still turn that end mill and make a nice cut. The other thing is I can't hog with this thing, not like I'm used to, I'm used to making chips, 6s and 9s, baby. But I got to learn to, take my time. And here's a little surprise for you. When I get done here and my other projects, I'm going to wind up selling the whole thing. It's just not really my speed. I'd love to have a Bridgeport or even a 10 or 12-inch swing lathe. This little thing is for, even though I work on watches and stuff and repair pocket watches, this needs to go to somebody, a modeler, somebody that does RC cars or planes, a modeler, things like that. A guy, somebody that does, war scene recreations, builds stuff like that on a tiny, tiny scale. I'm just not into it. So be looking for this. It's going to be on sale, and I have got attachments coming out of my ears for this thing, including this and vices, and I got another cross feed I'm going to put on. I built this stand for it. I came up with this chip catcher. I got the DC motor set up with the DC speed control. I got more stuff. I got two small cabinets over here that my toolbox sits on. That's going to go with it. I don't know what I'm going to offer it for, but it's going to be for sale. I got the milling table, everything. I got everything. The only thing I don't have is the threading attachment for this machine, and that's because they're just too damn expensive, and I'd never thread with it. If I'm threading, I'll cut something down, or I'll chase threads, or I've got taps and dies also coming out of my ears. I just tap and die it, drill, cut it, or whatever. Chase it with tap and dies. All right. Man, it takes a lot of energy. All right. Well, let's make 3 passes, and then I'll send you on your way. And again, here's this direct drive. What's that? 600 RPM, 400 RPM. I want to get some ear protection. Because I'm deaf, huh? Yeah. I don't know how good you can see that, but making a whisper pass. I'd say with the Unimat, the max cut would be about 20,000. I don't have no indicators on it, so I don't know where I'm stopping and starting. That's all right. I'm just going by my Sharpie marks. Now I am turning clockwise, so I am conventional milling when I'm cutting. It's very important. Okay, so the cutter is clear. There's a gauge up here, dial. It's got notches on it. Each knot is 1,000. 1,000. Well, I'm not taking very much. I'll probably be here all night. I got nothing else to do. That's probably a heavy cut. And there she goes. This setup here is a little hinky, but it's all I got. I do have indicators. I've got stops, but I didn't even rig them. I'm lazy. And these little crank handles, I tell you. DC motor gets warm pretty quick. And about 20, 25,000. Yeah. That's heavy. It's going though. I just tightened up the lock nut back here on the Z-axis. Now I want, the table's walking across the floor. I got to fight the urge to crank this baby up, and dial in a 100,000s. You just can't do that. And every time I turn this off, I turn the controller down and then shut her off. I don't know how well you can see that, but let's take this phone out of here so you can get a closer look, huh? Excuse the low budget production. All right, I'm gonna. Oops, it's backwards. There's the cut. There's the setup. It's kind of a cool little thing. It's kind of a gimmick to me. I've been wanting to try it, and I got my chance. But I got this from littlemachineshop.com. I'm not sponsored, of course not. I bought it 3-4 years ago. I don't even know how much they are anymore. I think I paid I think I paid $60 for it a while ago. Who knows what it is now? And I know they got a couple versions. But I saw it and I thought, no, I just want to try it out. Anyway, there's my setup. That's just half the stuff. I got tools. I even got carbide cutters for this thing. I've got threaders, or I've got reamers. I've got turntable. I got a really expensive collet set down there with a collet. Collets in the collar. Or the chuck for that. So, all right, guys. Sunday, March 6th. Have a good week. Don't work too hard. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. Oh, man, I just remembered that. Happy birthday, Dylan. I love you. Talk to you guys later. See ya.